Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? Dom Richie here, back on the Shuffle Squad YouTube channel, and today we're going to be going over my predicted tier list for Surging Sparks. Now I'm joined by a very special guest, Superior V-Star. It's just one of those random cards that was sitting on my desk. Superior is one of my favorite Pokemon. Shout out Pokemon Black and White. If you've seen my deck list on Twitter at all, you'll know I've always played with a Black and White playmat. But let's just jump right into this video. There's a lot of new archetypes coming out of Surging Sparks, a lot more than I think people were generally expecting. And right off the bat, we're just going to start with Blocklax. Blocklax seems like it's probably still going to be pretty okay. I think B tier is probably safe for Blocklax. I don't think Blocklax is going to be A or S tier, just because if it is, people are going to respect it, and then it's not good. But I think it's perfectly fine as a B tier deck. I think it's like just probably gonna be good but not amazing, right? And like that's common with Blocklax, and that's when it tends to do the best. I wouldn't be surprised if it wins an event. Ancient Pox is probably still going to be pretty mid. Unfortunately, single prize card decks are just not overly functional right now, and especially Ancient Box. There's so much reason not to play Ancient Box right now, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. The first new deck we're going to talk about is Sylveon, okay? So Sylveon has this neat attack here. Let me just check. I gotta remember what it's called here, because I kind of forget. It's called Angelite. Yeah, you can see Angelite right here. Yeah, Sylveon's got Oh, there's Meowstick. Don't know where he's from. Sylveon has Angelite, which allows you to shuffle 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon into their deck. That's a really cool attack. You can get rid of like your opponent's Bib plus their Pidgeot. Like, let's say if you could go, okay, well, you're not fully set up, I'm gonna get rid of all your support mon, now you can't do anything. It's a cool attack. I think Sylveon's probably going to be bad. Its Magical Charm attack does 160 damage. It's just not relevant enough. And Lost Zone Tina might start seeing a little bit of a comeback. And the reason I'm saying that is I think that like the Lost Zone engine might be solid going into this event, like going into this format. It still sucks that cards like Dusknoir are definitely harmful for Lost Box and Lost Zone in general. But I think Giratina, like, there's a lot of stuff that has a lot of HP. We're seeing a lot more, like, Stage 2 Pokemon decks. We're seeing, like, decks are fast, and I think Tina, it needs to adapt to be faster, but I don't think it's in the bad tier. Where I think Tina can probably compete. Lost Zone Box, we did just see win an event, and I actually think, like, if I'm looking at it, okay, I'm like, okay, so let's say Lost Zone Box can play Pikachu within it now, and Pikachu's a great attacker, it can't be one-hit KO'd. I think Lost Zone Box is probably also going to be B tier. As much as your Regidrago matchup sucks, Regidrago's kind of on the downswing for what it's worth. I'm a fan of Regidrago. I just think that, like, people are kind of getting tired of the deck, and it's kind of like if we look at like LeBron James, bro should have won a lot more MVPs, but people just kind of get tired of it. People are getting tired of Regidrago. I think Lost Zone Box is looking relatively really strong. Decks like Raging Bolt are really popular, and Lost Zone does decimate Raging Bolt unless you're Caleb Gettimer, in which case your opponent's just double bricking. Another deck that unfortunately is just unplayable due to Dusknoir being in the format is Dialga. I have talked about this before, where Dialga kind of just gets dominated by Dusknoir. If you've got 2 Matangs, they're both being popped and you just lose. The deck's just a little bit too slow right now in order to compete, unfortunately, because Dialga is a really cool deck. Palkia, I think Palkia is still a very strong choice going into next format. Just being able to turbo with those Dusknoirs, it's going to prove to still be really strong. Palkia has a really efficient attack. It can power itself up. It's got a good amount of HP. Like, V-Stars are going to be good until they rotate, and I think Palkia is probably one of, if not the best V-Star Pokemon we've ever had. It's super efficient as an attacker. Its ability is really good, and it's super versatile too. I think Palkia Ghost is just, I think it's just him right now, and I think that's a pretty cool thing to do. I love Palkia. I know a lot of people that like Palkia. And I think like Palkia is probably going to stay one of the top 5 or 6 decks in the format. Ceruledge is a deck. I think Ceruledge is neat. That being said, I don't think it scales fast enough. If we look at our current format, decks are trying to win like turn like 3. Even some are winning like as early as turn 2. And Ceruledge just can't do that. You can use Drillbur to discard some energies, but like scaling anything past 200 turn 1 is just not happening. And it sucks because I think Ceruledge is a really cool card concept, and I think if as the format slows down after rotation, which I think it will, I think that Ceruledge is probably going to get a lot better. And it could be a cool deck later. Unfortunately, after rotation, it's going to lose Hisui and Basculegion, which I think is a card that could be really neat in this deck as like a closer, as a single prize attacker. But whatever, we'll have to wait and see how it goes out. Another B tier deck, I think, is probably just Miraidon, okay? Miraidon has the ability now to have a much less bad bench sitter with Pikachu, so it did gain that, and Pikachu cannot be boss KO'd. So, like, Miraidon looks better in theory. Mewtwo right now kind of sucks to grab, and then use Area Zero, and then it's just sitting on your bench. Like, Pikachu, like, you don't have that issue with Pikachu now. Pikachu cannot be KO'd. I think Miraidon is genuinely looking very, very good. Just like, it's Miraidon, right? You can utilize Iron Hands. You can attack really early in the game. You're hitting 220 turn 1 all the time. Or you're hitting an Iron Hands turn 1 all the time. Like, the deck is him. And I think, like, Miraidon's going to be good until Electric Generator rotates. Even once Raikou rotates, the deck is still going to be fine. And that's just Raikou, though. Or that's just Miraidon, though. Miraidon's been good. We know that. It's... like, there's better decks, of course, but I think Miraidon's fine. I'm not really ordering, oh, this is the best deck for... in B tier. I don't know, right? We can't know. There hasn't been nearly enough testing. Not enough people are playing the format yet because there's still events happening, right? But I think, like, Surging Sparks is going to be really cool. Dragapult, I actually think is still going to be very good. If we can sit and look at it, like, let's say Pikachu starts seeing a lot of play, which could happen, maybe. Dragapult's going to beat Pikachu. Dragapult's going to beat Hydreigon. It just beats the other Stage 2 decks. And that's kind of like, that's a really important thing right now is like Dragapult just takes good matchup spreads. And right now with the current builds of Dragapult, like I think it's cool. It flopped hugely in Louisville, but I think Dragapult is still just, I think Dragapult is him. Okay. Like as flat out as I can be, Dragapult is that deck right now. Maybe there's better decks than Dragapult, but I think Dragapult is probably one of the 3 best decks in the format. And sometimes your deck just doesn't convert and that happens, right? Pikachu, as cool as Pikachu sounds, I'm very on the fence. I'm probably saying Pikachu's probably a C tier deck. There's a couple cool ways you could play Pikachu. I've seen people be like, oh, I'm gonna play Blissey Loop Pikachu with like pennies and stuff. I've seen people be like, oh, I'm gonna play Lost Zone Pikachu. I'm not sure what the optimal way to play it is. I love Lost Zone. If we look at like when I play Lost Zone Raging Bolt, I'm a big guy of put something in Lost Zone and I'm sure it'll work, right? Because Lost Zone is just that engine. I think Pikachu could be cool with a couple different things, but I think it's right now kind of just in that spot where it's not really figured out yet. So I'm going to put it in C tier. I'm hoping Pikachu can prove me wrong, but I'm not too convinced it's going to. Gardevoir's probably just going to stay. As much as I want to put Gardevoir in C tier, I can't. The Gardevoir hate's gotta stop. I gotta stop. D1 Guardy hater. I can't be hating on Gardevoir anymore. That deck is fine. A B tier deck for sure. Your matchups, you're winning some, you're losing some. It happens. That's Gardevoir. That's every deck right now, though. Hyjample sucks. Iron Thorns is another deck. I think Iron Thorns is a deck that gets worse going into this format. And the reason for that is, like I said, depending how much the meta shifts, because if it doesn't shift a lot, then Iron Thorns isn't going to drop at all. I think Iron Thorns will still be a fine deck. But like right now, I think it's one of the better decks to be playing. Like, let's say Archaludon turns out to be BDIF, okay? Then Iron Thorns is going to beat Archaludon. However, Iron Thorns is, like, Archaludon probably won't be BDIF. And Iron Thorns, like, you lose to Turtle. Dragapult's pretty brutal. Like, it's just some of the best decks just aren't that reliant on abilities. You beat Raging Bolt and Charizard pretty handedly. Those are good decks to take good matchups into, but I think the format's interesting right now. Iron Thorns it's kind of like that Lax thing where like it's only good when people aren't expecting it. If people are expecting it, it's not that good. So I think it's fine. I think it's just fine. Just a B tier deck. Lugia, I actually think I have to put Lugia S tier. Lugia is ridiculous. It does absolutely everything. It's like, we've seen Lugia. It's been doing very, very well lately. No, it hasn't. Well, it did win an event. It won, what's it called? Joinville. But like, it hasn't won a North American regional yet. But there's only been 2. And it was dominant. Lugia has done very well. We've seen Rahul finally have his streak of top 8s ended here. But I think Lugia is just that deck right now. Might even be better than Dragapult. But that's just my opinion. Chen Pao, unfortunately, unplayable due to Dusknoir again. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, how come some other decks can play stage 2 Pokemon and Chen Pao can't? Chen Pao can't because unless you have 3 Fridge, you're just losing to 1 Dusknoir play. Boss KO the Baxcalibur, Dusknoir KO the bench Fridge. Or double Devo, or not double Devo, or just Devo in general, and then you just lose. It kind of sucks because I love Chen Pao. I wish Bro would be good again, but I just don't think he is. Archaladon seems like... I want Archaladon to be good. I think decks like Archaladon are good for the format, where they're a little bit slower, they're tankier, they're kind of brain dead, but that's okay. We need a little brain dead deck in our format. Everybody knows about Arcdur. That was a fun deck. You know what? No, it wasn't. It wasn't fun. Don't listen to me, guys. Arcdur. It was a deck. Wasn't a fun deck. Don't want to talk about it anymore, to be honest. Kind of ruined my day, but that's okay. Roaring Moon is probably also C tier. This sucks, right? I think Roaring Moon's really cool. I just don't see it having that much merit to play right now. The fact that if I Frenzied Gouging, I'm just hit with a Dusclops and I'm dead. Or like I Frenzied Gouging and Dragapult can go boss KO something else and then spread 3 and I'm dead. Like there's so many reasons not to play Roaring Moon right now. And Raging Bolt is up in that A tier. I think Raging Bolt's just better than Roaring Moon. And that happens, right? Raging Bolt is just a deck that like Raging Bolt can utilize Briar. Not that it's like the most useful thing. I think if you're not like one deck spot for Briar seems worth it for me. I use Briar all the time in my matchups and it just helps with some of your tougher matchups. Arc Charcadet. I've been seeing this deck pop off. I think that's probably fluke though. Arc Firebox. It's like, oh, we'll play Luminous Energy. We can do this. We can do that. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you could, but you shouldn't. And that's kind of just where I'm at, right? I think it's cool. We can use cards like Iron Hands. Charcadet, or what's his name? Armarouge EX is a really cool card. I wish that we had more fire support, but we just don't right now. It's trying so hard to be good, but until we get a Welder or a Fire Crystal reprint, it's not going to be. Dango, another beat. Yeah, Goldango seems B tier. Goldango is very good, actually, and people are sleeping on it quite heavily, I think. Yeah, I'm just putting Goldango in B tier right now. I think that's probably just safe for where it's going to be. It's consistent-ish. You can beat Raging Bolt automatically just by not benching a 2-prizer turn 1. Like, just don't bench your Palkias. You can be like all the turbo decks just by doing that, except like Miraidon. Miraidon can be kind of tough, but they can't really swing 260, so you're probably okay. Dipplin, unfortunately bad. Probably better than Hydrapple, though. I can't lie. I don't hate Hydrapple, but I think Dipplin's overhated. Zoroark also have fun, I guess. It sucks. I think Zoroark could have been cool. I just don't think it is. Hydreigon, okay. There's a lot of people that think this deck's going to be very good. There's a lot of people that think it's going to be very bad. I think Hydrapple is... Oh, this is tough. I think Hydrapple's probably just going to be a playable but not good deck. Something like Duraludon, something like Armarouge, Roaring Moon, Pikachu. Like all these new decks, there's a lot of new ones. I just don't think they're that good. Hydreigon, though, it's promising. 200 for 2 energies, mill 3. Very good. 120, snipe 3. Well, no, it's 120 or 130, snipe 2, 130 to active. That's a very, very good attack. It's just powering it up. But, you know, if we get a little more support, it could be good. We also have Terra Crystal coming, or Terra Ball, I think it is. Like, there's a lot of support for Terras coming out. I think Hydreigon could be cool. If I had to put my faith in any of these new decks coming out, it's definitely Hydreigon for sure. I just think it's probably just the best out of all of them. Sylveon's probably the worst. Noivern seems probably not as great of a play as it has been. It was very good for Baltimore, but people are now kind of just expecting it. It's not good. Okidogi, don't talk about it. Greninja, don't talk about it. Drago's still an A-tier deck. Drago's still very good. It's going to stay good until it rotates. There's just too much good stuff. Good Dragon-type attackers. Good ways to get them in your discard. Good ways to power up Regidrago. Regidrago is going to stay good for until rotation, which I'm assuming is in March or April. I think Regidrago, like, if you're playing Regidrago now, just keep playing it. It's fine. If you play Double Rod and can recycle Radzard, your Bolt matchup is not as bad as everybody says. And in general, like, the deck it's an interesting deck for sure. Sablezard, I actually think Sablezard is probably C tier. It's probably like, I don't know, Sablezard seems cool. I think Radiant Charizard's very good in this format. If we look at all the Pokemon in this format, it's like, okay, Lugia V can be KO'd by a Radiant Charizard. Raging Bolt is KO'd by a Radiant Charizard. Goldango's KO'd by Radiant Charizard. Moon is. Thorns is not, unless you play Cologne. Drago is. Palkia is. Like, there's so much reason to play Radzard right now. I think it's very cool. Blood Moon's also cool. And, like, Sablezard is... It's a deck that is... It's just good, right? You can Devo, you can spread damage, you can do whatever you need to do, and I think that's an important thing to look out for. And then we've got Terapagos. Terapagos right now is like super good. I think Terapagos is probably one of the best decks in the format. I think there were 3 in the top 16. I don't remember all who it was. I do know Julia made top 16, went 4-0 in day 2 with top 8. Don't gotta talk about it. Too many people did that. Free up, because that top 8 or that top cut run could have been sick. I think Terapagos stays very good. Unified Beatdown is a fine attack. You can recycle your Dust Noirs super easy. You beat Raging Bolt really easy. You can just beat whatever you need to. It's a cool deck, right? Iron Hands, don't play this deck. Pidge Control, okay? Pidge Control's an S tier deck if you can play it. Hate me, don't care. Give me all the hate you can. Clip it, all out, Blitzel's the GOAT. There's a reason people that are good with Pidge Control are doing well, right? The all 9 results, as much as I'm like, oh, mix don't count. If you are top cutting every single mic you play in, playing Pidgeot Control, your deck is good. Pidgeot Control, if you master it, is going to win a lot of games. It's going to win a regional. Just put it here, Pidgeot Control, if you can play it well, is the best deck in the format. I'm fine to say that. And Charizard, A tier deck. We all know Charizard. We know what it does. We know how good it is. Charizard stays busted. Infernal Rain, one of the best abilities we've had. Burning Darkness, one of the best attacks we've had. Charizard is an absurd amount of health. It's just good. Pidgeot's really good. And that's where I'm sitting at for this tier list. Let me know what you guys think down below. Am I wrong? Am I right? We'll have to see when the format comes out. I'll probably forget I even recorded this video by the time the format's out because it doesn't release for a couple of weeks. I believe it is 3 weeks from now where it releases. Yeah, this is where I'm at. Let me know what you guys think down below. Check out all our sponsors in the description. And until next time, guys, peace out and have a great one.
Want to support the Shuffle Squad? Be sure to check out all of our sponsors in the description to pick up Pokemon TCG singles, sealed, and PTCG live codes. You made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from the Shuffle Squad. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every person that supports our content, watches what we have going on every single day, every single week, even from time to time, and continuously allows us to have a forum to project our creative content towards the Pokemon TCG community. So if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment to help boost the YouTube algorithm. That being said, we'll catch you with our next video. Thanks again. Take it easy.